So Steam Deck prices are going up, right? And a lot of people are pissed about it, but I wanted to make this video to talk about something a little more personal. The Steam Deck, I gotta give some credit, all right? For as much as it costs now, it's also still great. And truthfully, it got me up off my ass. Yeah, okay, I know that sounds ridiculous when you say it out loud. Like anyone could just walk outside with a gaming handheld, but it's probably one of the single biggest lifestyle upgrades I've made in recent years. And it goes far beyond the Steam Deck itself. If you ever felt guilty about how much time you're just sitting around gaming, watch this. I'm sharing exactly how the Steam Deck broke one of my worst habits, the practical lessons I learned, and despite the prices now, why I'm still hopeful about where handheld gaming is going. And if you like what I'm doing here, smash like, hit subscribe. You know, I hate to say it, but that's how the world works. Stick with me, follow me. Okay, we're inside now because it was getting hot, and also I have social anxiety. That's not gonna fix that. Let me paint a picture of how bad it used to be, because I gotta make it quite clear, it was bad. I didn't have a lot of obligations back then, so it was like high school and then home, and then I would be at my desk playing like League of Legends for like hours at a time. And by the time I was done, it was 2 a.m. My feet were super stiff, my back hurt, and my eyes were bloodshot all the time. I realized that the big setup I was sitting at, my PC gaming setup, was keeping me glued to one spot. So then I tried console gaming. Later on, I bought an Xbox One, you know, I was playing Assassin's Creed Unity on the couch, and I was doing the same exact thing. And that's when I started to realize that there was a genuine problem with what I was doing. I was getting less active, and I realized this all started because I was chasing the dopamine hit that like gaming was giving me. To get that dopamine hit, I was doing it sitting down 4 to 5 hours straight without getting up. Now, before I start sounding like those bro guru channels, let's go into how the deck quietly fixed this. So later on in life, the Steam Deck gets revealed. At first, I'm kind of like, I don't really get it. I already have everything I need. But that's when it hit me. I could just use the Steam Deck to do everything I'm doing right now, but somewhere else. At first, it kind of made a difference. I mean, I was using it portably, but like the screen at first, I wasn't crazy about it. The fan was really whiny. The performance wasn't where I wanted it to be. And I ended up actually just using it docked a lot. I'm a big idiot, I know. But then after a while, it really started to hit me. You know, I was going back to my PC to play these big games, but then I was like, hold on, why don't I just try and play some indie games or something smaller that I'd be playing on my big PC on the deck? So I started grabbing my deck and laying down in bed to play it. I know, big whoop. We didn't really make progress there with getting outside, but stick with me. I was playing Yakuza Kiwami in bed, and it felt really good, actually. So then I started moving downstairs in the living room. And then when the weather got nicer outside, which only happens 3 months out of the whole year here in Canada, I started using my deck outside. And that's when it hit me. Gaming suddenly felt like right and flexible again. It felt like when I was a kid, opening up my DS to play Pokemon and bringing it outside on the street to play with my neighbors. But how about that limit to gaming time? Here's where one of the deck's biggest weaknesses actually came in handy for me. Now, the Steam Deck's battery can range anywhere from 6 hours if you're playing a lighter game to a couple hours to maybe an hour and a half if you're playing a heavier game. Well, what if I told you I was using this battery as a timer? You see, what I would do is I would grab my Steam Deck, go outside, sit on the patio, and play. However long it would last me, I would just use it until it hit about 10 to 20%. Once those 2 hours are done, I have to plug in the Steam Deck. So I have to get up, go in, plug it in, and then do something else while it's charging. I've set a limit on myself to not use my PC during this time. And this change I made suddenly improved my health. What would I do while I was waiting? Well, I'd go for a walk, or I'd work out, or just anything else. It finally broke that loop I was in for years, which was just to sit as long as I can at my desk and just absorb games. And then this is where one of the biggest shifts began to happen. And it wasn't a short-term thing. This is a long-term thing. Stick with me. I moved from 3 to 5 hour marathons into these 15 to 40 minute bursts. A quick roguelike run during a break while I'm working or making dinner or like whatever. I could just easily fit this device in during my day. I know it kind of sounds like I'm addicted to cigarettes, but with the Steam Deck, because I'm like always trying to get another huff out, but that's besides the point. It was changing something I used to do 4 to 5 hours a day into little bursts. So at the end of the day, I could finally look up and literally smell the roses a little more often. And that's when something even bigger happened. You know, besides the fact the Steam Deck was stopping me from having these super long gaming sessions and letting me play more games around the house, it was genuinely getting me up off my ass. to touch grass. And that's why the title of this video is what it is. You see, when you're not limited to where you play a video game, when you have the native game running on a handheld, you could go anywhere you want. And it doesn't just stop at my backyard. It could be a friend's house, it could be an airport, airplane, while you're on vacation. And that's when this thing really starts to make sense. But I'm not gonna go off here and say, oh, the Steam Deck is the only thing you could take handheld with you. It's not. Nowadays, there are a lot of other handhelds that exist. The ROG Ally, Legion Go, and especially with the prices going up now, there's a lot of other competitive options besides the Steam Deck. And at this point in the video, I wanted to talk about the future of handheld gaming. But stick around because I think it's going in a direction not a lot of people think. But before that, if anything I've said has resonated with you at all, hit like and subscribe. Again, I hate to ask, but that's the YouTube game. That's how it works. So here's why I'm still hopeful about the future of handheld gaming. Listen, we gotta go back and again, remind everybody the Steam Deck prices went up. I have a ton of other videos on this channel talking about how much I love the Steam Deck. And you know what? I still do. I don't like the price of it though. And here's the thing, everything in life now is getting a lot more expensive and the world is in a weird place, especially with AI. I don't even need to bring it up. You already know if you're watching this video. But there's a line of devices as of recording this video that I don't see a lot of people talking about that should be getting a lot more attention. And it starts with the ARM chip. Now, if you don't know what ARM is, there's two major architectures. There's x86 and ARM. x86 has been the long kind of standard AMD Ryzen, Intel chips, and the Steam Deck itself is running x86 chips. Now, these chips are serviceable. They do the job, but they require a lot of power, a lot of battery, and they generate a lot of heat. Well, with the recent rise of ARM chips, we're seeing a lot more power efficient and powerful devices. Our phones are running these ARM chips. The Switch runs these ARM chips, and the new line of Microsoft Surface laptops with the RTX Spark. But there's a line of gaming devices no one's really talking about. These small portable Android handhelds, which off the bat you hear Android and you go, what the hell can that do? Mobile games? Not anymore. Valve recently has been making big strides in the ARM space, specifically when it comes to the Steam Frame, because that's running an ARM chip. Their goal has been to get Steam games running natively on ARM. And for the most part, they've succeeded. If you take a look at some of the benchmarks for these Android handheld ARM devices, we're seeing older generation and newer indie Steam games running 60 FPS at great resolutions on these little pocketable devices with battery levels that are letting people game for almost 3.5 hours to 2.5 hours on average. And that's why I'm really excited where the future is going. Think about it, ARM chips getting so powerful where we have devices that can run 4K and AAA games, 60 FPS, no problem. And why I'm most excited about this is because I think a lot of people see small device that can run games and go, ooh, that's gonna cost a lot. They don't. They range from $200 to $400 depending on how you spec them out as of making this video, because prices can change any time. And that's what I mean. While x86 architecture continues to rise in price, we're seeing a trend here where these devices cost less, they're becoming more capable day by day, and they're really accessible. I think we need to start paying attention to these devices more. And I knock myself for not, because with how portable and great I think the Steam Deck already is, imagine how much better it could be if we had something in an even more powerful pocketable form with us that we could just slide in our pocket, and then when I'm outside touching grass, I can whip out like an AYN Thor and play Pokemon or something like that. But before I end off this video, there's something I gotta talk about. At the end of the day, as much as I love talking about Steam and Valve and where I think the industry is going, we gotta be realistic and talk about what's going on right now. AI is ruining a lot of hobbies for a lot of different people right now. But the innovation that's happening right now in the space is exciting. We're moving into an era where handheld gaming can become more portable, more efficient, more accessible than ever. And the Steam Deck started that revolution for me. It showed me that as is already, it's very possible. And at the end of the day, in the world we live in, finding any little glimmer of hope is honestly super important. So if I had to say anything, it would be thank you. Thank you, Steam Deck. Thank you to the entire handheld community for showing me a new way to game that I never knew before. And for genuinely saving my health. Not to be dramatic. But I want to hear from you. Do you have a handheld gaming device? How has it changed your life? I want to know in the comments below, and I want to hear your story because it's super interesting to me. And if you want more videos like this, hit like, hit subscribe. I got a ton of other stuff on my channel where I talk about all things PC gaming and gaming in general. And once again, thank you all for coming back to another one. This has been Nick, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.